I'm Vera Greenfield, and this is my husband Doug, and we've been farming for quite a few years around here. Well, we've been married 64 years, so we've always been here.
I was born on a farm just up the road here, and we got married and bought this farm the same year, 61. So we've been on this farm ever since. Well, we started out, it was a dairy farm, our whole farm was a dairy farm. And when we first moved here, we had a feedlot with beef and the Holstein young cattle. And when you started into the broiler breeder business, in the second or third year we were here at a small scale, and we got up to, we had 12,000 breeders when we sold the farm. My grandfather had purchased the farm, and I'm not sure when, early 1900s, and he did it as a bachelor, and he was courting my grandmother before he bought the farm. He lived down on number 3 highway by Nels Corners, and she lived up by Bilton. So then when he bought this farm, got married, they had a daughter, my mother. And my father came as a hired man when he was 16, never left. He took over the farm, and then when we got married, we bought this farm, so that we farmed together. And then my brother came home from school, and we farmed together too. And now we've gone, my son and grandson has farms over on the next road, so we're still farming. Same as everybody else, keeping. Sometimes it's been pretty tough. We were very fortunate when the interest rates in the 80s went to 20-some%. They'd started the Farm Credit Corporation, and that was a 5% mortgage. So we got a 5% mortgage for our farm about 6 months before everything went south. So we went through that one kind of relatively unscathed. A lot of the people that we went to school with got out of farming at that time. I don't have a lot to do, we sold our broiler quotas, so that kept us walking. Now we don't have that, so it kind of going to hunt something to do now. I drive tractors in the spring and the combine in the fall. That's my 2 jobs I've managed to hang on to. I don't know how long they'll let me, but we'll try. I don't know if anybody can pass advice a year in advance to farmers now. You get 2 years out and you don't know how to run the machine that's coming. Just own your land a bit. I think that's still a good idea.
Our supply management is still very important to keep here in Canada, so that it.
If you think we should get rid of it.
Well, of course, my memory is just when we got married and came here, and most of the stores in town that were there at that time was handy for me because I didn't drive at the time. So any stores that was there in the early 60s, I was attending them quite often, but I always had to have a ride. So I had to wait till the ride came, which was Doug's mom.
When I went to school, there was a natural ice arena. It's just a corrugated, every town had one. And if you're out the country, I wonder if there's ice tonight or can we go skating? So Bailey Hardware is on the corner, just up the corner from the bank, and there would be a sign, ice in or ice out. And so you'd call Bailey Hardware. And can you tell me whether the ice is in or out? And so that was the next thing up from telegraph. There were 6 farm machinery dealers in Hagersville. It was the John Deere. We got that little cockpit out of Simonton Motors, which was also an international dealer. There was the Sitter was the main dealer, the big Massey dealer. He was one of them. And then Cockship, the Giles, and Hazel's had the Ford. And there was one more that people can't remember, but the co-op sold Ferguson. So we had 6 farm machinery dealers in the 60s in Hagersville.
I remember the theater that was there. Of course, like I'm from Jarvis, it was a treat if we got to go to the theater to see. I can't remember what was on, but it was really dark in there. You had the usher had a flashlight, so they had to show you where your seat was. But can't remember how much it was. Maybe 10 cents.
It was at one time those seed mills and the feed mills and the 6 dealerships and that. It was geared toward agriculture, and then gypsum mines got going more and more all the time, and the quarries. So Hagersville was a big quarry place, and those guys in those days, they drilled and blast, and you loaded the little cars by hand with the rock and shoveled the small stuff in. But all that rock was handled by hand at one time before there was steam shovels.
Probably lots of men lost their lives too, most likely.
Well, it
Injuries.
was tough work. It was tough work.
Hard work. It was nice when that was built, because it was anybody that was ill and needed special help, you had to go to Hamilton, Toronto, wherever. So it was quite a feat when everybody put together and put that hospital together. So it's been a very good success.
Quite a town because the railroad made the towns. That's what everything came to the railroad, to the town.
But everybody knew each other at that time. But Hagersville was always community oriented because of the show and the farm machinery dealerships. And everybody knew each other at that time. There was something goes on, everybody came to town to join in. I was from Jarvis, didn't know anybody, but through churches and community things going on and Women's Institute. And then Hagersville Hospital was started. I was a member of the membership there for, I guess, 20 years. Yeah. So it was just like all community oriented, no matter what was going on.